Let's do it. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to the Fourth Line Podcast, part of Full Press Radio. This is June the 6th, 2022. With you today is myself, Carl, and Stevie Nick.
We were talking before the show started, and I was telling Carl how gloomy I was today because of the weather. Another reason, Carl, do you get seasonal allergies?
No, my body is not trying to kill me to save me. Okay.
Well, you should know that as I wipe my eyes through this whole conversation, I'm not crying.
If you're emotional, let's talk about it. Like, that's what we're here for. What's wrong?
Well, I mean, I'm feeling sad about a few things, especially as it relates to hockey.
Okay, tell me.
I feel sad for some people.
Who do you feel sad for?
Well, the first one that comes to mind is Nazem Kadri. I feel sad for him.
I feel sad for him too.
I also kind of feel sad for Connor McDavid, but like, let's be real. This guy has the best disappointed faces.
Yeah, he doesn't hide his emotions at all.
No, but anytime he's disappointed or upset about something, it's always his face is just like he's so confused. He's like, how did we get here? I think he'd be used to it by now.
How did this thing that's happened every year of my career happen again?
And it's the same face he had on draft lottery night when he found out he was going to the Oilers.
It's his Oilers face.
It's his Oilers face.
Yeah. Yeah. So sad for anyone else you're sad for?
Who am I sad for? Well, let's just run the gamut here of everything we're going to talk about tonight. I'm a little sad for the Carolina Hurricanes. Not all of them, but some of them.
Yeah.
I'm sad for Bruce Cassidy.
Mm-hmm.
I am sad for the New York Rangers.
Interesting. So both teams in the Rangers series from last round you're sad for. Interesting. Yeah. Well, let's get to it. We are going to break down technically the last series from the second round ended after we stopped recording. We kind of knew it. I made the bold choice when I was posting this episode last time. If you go back and look at the description, I declared that the Rangers would win in the description, and they did. I said they better not mess this up for me because I don't want to edit it.
Was that game on while we were recording?
It was, yeah.
I forget that game even happened. It feels like so long ago.
Right? And it was 1 week. These playoffs are a journey.
Yeah. And we were talking about the Rangers and winning home games versus away games. And they won an away game in Game 7 last week against the Hurricanes.
And Carolina finally lost at home.
Carolina lost at home.
So you're sad for them. Why are you sad for them?
For the Hurricanes?
Yeah.
I thought they were a good team. I thought that they would have been able to beat the Rangers. I'm sad for them that they lost their starting goalie through the entire regular season. Now all of a sudden playoffs come. So they had goalie troubles. I'm sad for Rod Brandamore. I just like the guy. I just like him.
Here's the thing. I think of the list of people you just listed, they should know when you sign Freddie Anderson, you're not getting healthy Freddie Anderson. You're getting coin flip Freddie. And that means that come playoff time, he might be there. He might not. You know, at this point in time, what you're getting. It's not a surprise. I'm sad for Freddie that he couldn't stay healthy, but the team, they should have known by now.
Well, it's just so crazy that he went all season mostly fine. And then boom, playoffs hit and he's out.
Yeah, 2 weeks before the playoffs start, he was hurt?
Pretty brutal. And then Ranta was hurt, and then Ranta was back. And then Ranta let in too many goals, so they had to swap him out.
Yeah, I mean.
And then did you see the interview on ESPN, the behind the bench interview, where I think it was Emily Kaplan was interviewing Rod Brandamore about why he made the decision to pull Ranta, and Ranta is literally sitting right in front of them. His face is in frame. If you guys not have any self-awareness right now, move to the other side of the bench.
I do appreciate, Emily Kaplan is not afraid to ask any question to anyone at any point in time. She's like, hey, I want to know this. The listeners want to know this. Let's just go. I've noticed, I haven't been able to watch a ton of ESPN games throughout the year. Most of them get the Canadian feed, but she's she definitely doesn't dodge the hot question.
No, it was great. And she's like, I don't care who's sitting in front of me right now. I'm going to ask you about what I want to ask. But to his credit, Brendan Moore he gave a very good political answer.
I want her to go interview Don Sweeney about firing Bruce Cassidy right now. Can we get that interview? Can we get that? Like maybe he's at the game tonight and we can be like, hey Bruce, what do you think? And just the new guy sitting right beside him.
I love it. Bruce Cassidy's still packing up his
right?
cardboard box office.
You just see him walking out the back of the shot. I'm still here, Emily. Yeah, I do feel for the Freddie Anderson and them, but I mean, the Hurricanes needed to play better, and they weren't good enough in that series. They honestly, I mean, they didn't play great against Boston. Boston pushed them to 7. The Rangers pushed them to 7. You can't keep playing with fire. If you're good enough to shut these teams down and be able to win, you need to. And they definitely, the guys that needed to, I feel bad for like the role players on that team, because I mean, it's not on them to win the series, but it's on Aho and Teravainen and them, and they didn't show up.
Yeah, it was a pretty lackluster effort all playoffs. Like you said, they got lucky to even get past Boston, but you have to be able to win on the road. Like, I know that's the predominant storyline here, but it's true. You can't take every series to 7 games. Your home ice advantage is going to run out at some point.
And it did.
And it did. So, for a team that through the regular season could win on the road, it's kind of baffling that they couldn't figure it out. Like, is it a coaching thing? He wasn't getting the matchups he wanted. I don't know.
Yeah, it would be. I mean, it seems, again, a small sample size of 14 games. You start to get a little bit bigger, but it is kind of weird that they lost all 6 road games.
The quality of that team, like, they should be able to handle the matchups game.
Exactly.
Right? Like, it doesn't make sense. At some point it became in their heads and it became a pressure thing.
Well, and not to take too much away from the Rangers, but they're not a particularly deep team that you can't like shove any line out there and be able to survive. And I think that's the problem.
Yeah. And further to the Rangers' credit, Shesterkin had a great series. Like, I thought he looked like a different goalie compared to how they played against the Penguins. So he really kept the Hurricanes on edge, and the rest of the team delivered.
For sure. Let's get to that next series then. Rangers versus Tampa. And this one was billed as, one series was billed as, like we talked about last week, Connor versus Nathan, McDavid versus McKinnon is probably the way that most people did it instead of the awkward way I just did. But this Tampa Rangers series was Vasilevsky versus Shesterkin. And it hasn't really been as close of a goaltending matchup as we think, but still amazing performance, like isolated performances really well. But really no, real duels. I think a lot of people expected each game to be 1-0.
Yeah. And obviously that hasn't really been the case. This series feels so much, every game feels like a toss-up to me. Like here's been my experience every time I've watched this series, all 3 games.
Yeah.
Every time I'm watching, I'm like, man, Tampa is all over them. Tampa is going to score. Tampa is going to win. And then they bring up the stats mid-period or at intermission, and the Rangers have more shots. They have more blocks. They have more hits. So, like, to me, there's something going on where Tampa might have a ton of speed. They might have a ton of possession, but it's not following through to the stat sheet.
Mm-hmm. I hear, and it is, I do think, especially in last night's game and even into the second half of game number 2, right? Tampa, it was pretty even up until then, but even yesterday, Tampa played the far better game than the Rangers. Now, it was close because Shesterkin kept them in it. But really, Tampa was the better team and was deserving of that win.
Yeah. What did Tampa record? Like 50 shots yesterday or something? Something crazy.
Yeah. They had 37 even strength shots, let alone.
Wow. Let's talk about even strength versus the power play, because 2 of their goals were on the power play yesterday.
Yeah.
Like we talked about this in the Leafs series. We talked about this in the Panther series. You got to be disciplined against this Tampa team because their power play is too good.
For sure. And Shesterkin made very good saves on that power play too, right? It's not like he wasn't doing his part to keep them in. There's just only so much you can do. And even, the Rangers had some very good opportunities shorthanded yesterday, right? Like it was a as well played as you could against that team. And maybe I should argue that they shouldn't be taking those shorthanded opportunities. Maybe like just dump the puck and stay in your zone. But it's not like Tampa scoring those power play goals setting up, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. I think if you got the chance, you take it. Like this is not the time to play it safe. And frankly, they've gotten this far playing the way that they've been playing, right? Like they put the defending back-to-back Stanley Cup champions in a 2-0 hole in the series.
Yeah. Speaking of power plays that you shouldn't give, it is 1-0 Colorado in game number 4.
Ooh, you're ahead of me. I get to watch the goal happen now.
Thank you, Zach Kassian. I didn't actually see the penalty, but I'm going to assume it was dumb.
I did see the penalty, and Kassian was complaining quite a bit about it, but it was very clearly a slash. Is that Cale Makar?
Yeah. It was. So that series, what do you think? My saying when it comes to the playoffs, and I think that this is true, is you're never out of a series until you lose at home, right? Tampa down 2-0. Clearly, if they lost at home like Edmonton did in game 3, the series is pretty much over. Only 5 teams ever have come back from being down 3-0 in a playoff series. And so almost impossible, right? Like very, very, very unlikely that you can come back and win the series if you're down 3-0. But now it's 2-1. They win the next game. We're even. And with what we've seen from Tampa, this does seem like they have figured out how to get the necessary pressure on the Rangers. It's just a matter of Shesterkin keeping them in it.
Yeah. So up until the end of the game yesterday, I thought, okay, the series is maybe a bit more of a coin flip than I thought it was. I thought that I saw a path for the Rangers out of here. After yesterday, I really feel that game-winning goal with like however many seconds left, 40 seconds, to win the game and keep them in the series, that to me is the kind of momentum shifting moment that can swing the series the other way.
Yeah.
And I think if anyone can do it, it's Tampa.
Maybe not a heartbreaker, but definitely very, very close. And the kind of thing that did change the game, right? Rangers get that you go to overtime, it literally becomes a coin flip. Right.
Yeah.
And so getting that goal from Palat at the end there was huge.
Hey, you know what I thought about yesterday? Speaking of overtime, there's really not been a lot of overtime in these playoffs.
There was a bunch in the first round, but last round, not so much. This round, barely any.
Yeah.
Has there been any this round?
I don't think there's been any this round.
Yeah.
And only one game, I think, has gone really deep into overtime.
Yeah, which I miss.
That Rangers, Penguins, I think what, 3 OTs?
Yeah, sounds about right.
So, I don't know, just kind of interesting. There's not been a ton of it this year.
Prediction for this series, where are you going with it?
With Tampa, New York?
Yeah.
I'm going to say Tampa in 6.
Tampa in 6. So you think they win the rest of them?
Yeah, I do.
I think this goes 7. And I think it's Tampa in 7. Yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. That's why I feel sad for the Rangers. Because I think that goal yesterday at the end of the game is going to ruin them.
I think back to that Pittsburgh series, right? And what game was it? Game 4, game 5, where they had that lead. They blew it. They came back and won that game. This team's shown that they aren't determined or aren't deterred by a bad game, a bad performance, to be able to turn around like that in a game and come back shows me that this team can do that again and again. So
yeah.
All right, let's then head out west.
To the other side. You ready? You got your jersey on. You look ready.
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'll mute my mic and in 5 minutes or so.
We're 13, 14 minutes into the show. So in about 40 minutes, come back. You know what? It's going to give you a lot of time to write a song. I don't know. Can you rhyme it with like Makar and Kadri, McKinnon? I don't know. See if you can find something in there.
All right. I'll see what I can do. In the meantime, you go ahead.
Well, let's start with game number 3. Let's start with the hit.
Okay.
You unmuted your mic. Thanks. The Evander Kane hit on Nazem Kadri. Nazem Kadri had surgery on his thumb today, likely out for the rest of the playoffs, which when you saw that hit, did you look at it and say, oh, that's a thumb injury?
No, but I had a good giggle at that today when I read that.
A thumb is a very important appendage in playing hockey.
Do you think they're lying?
Which you think it's like a concussion?
I don't think it's a concussion, but do you think this is one of those psych outs that they do in the playoffs?
I don't think on an official injury report that you can say that you can lie about surgery. I don't think you can pull that off. Fair.
Okay, so he had thumb surgery.
Look, if the Avalanche are going to, that's a bold play. And I'm not sure that that's something they would do right now. But it would definitely give us some content.
That would be hilarious. Actually, it was his collarbone.
I just want him to come out for warm-ups. Like, let's say I want him to come out for warm-ups just with his thumb duct taped to the stick. Like, it's not going anywhere. And he's like, yeah, I'm suiting up. I'm ready to go with a cast on, no glove. He's like, I don't need a glove. I've got a cast on. Okay. 1 game suspension for Evander Kane for that hit. What do you think about that?
I think it had to happen. I almost think it's not enough. What's our ratio here to regular season? Double?
I think it's still technically double, yeah.
Yeah, so this would be like 2 regular season games. It was a bad hit, man. It was right to the numbers, right into the boards. They got to get rid of those things, and that's why I think it should have been more.
And not only right, it was so far away from the boards. It was the hit that hurts people big time.
Yeah. And this is not a new thing for these professional hockey players. They know the mechanics of these hits and how fast they're moving. And I don't think he was trying to hurt him.
No.
But, I think he saw the numbers and he saw who it was. And he thought, I'm going to give him a good shove.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not saying that there's animosity between the two of them. Yeah, they've had some things through the series, but I would think that he would do that to anyone. I don't know. I would like to give him the benefit of the doubt that he just made a poor choice. It wasn't like, oh, this is Naz, I'm going to dump him right now.
Well, so I read a quote that he gave about the hit, Evander Kane. And he essentially said, you see that guy and you know how he plays. And he normally does the reverse check. He's a big reverse checker. So I gave it a little more, anticipating the reverse check.
Which in that situation, there was no way for him to do the reverse check as he's skating past you.
Yeah. And I don't know, we can sit here and debate intent and all of that, but the game's moving so fast. Who knows? I don't know. In that moment, he's probably not he's standing on 1 foot. He's not going to reverse check me because they're just moving too fast.
Well, that brings me to another thing that I want to talk about with this series then. I agree. I think he should have been suspended. 1 seems reasonable. Especially down 3-0. an elimination game for the Oilers. To lose him, that's a big deal. Avs currently outshoot. I mean, we're recording a podcast. I'm not fully focused on that game as much as I will be when we finish this, but Avs outshooting the Oilers 9-4 right now. So it's a strong start for the Avalanche. Let's go back to the first game. Very similar to game one of the last round, where the Oilers lost 9-6. This time the Oilers lost 8-6. And the main turning point in that game was a offside call that got reversed. So it was a goal that was upheld because of an offside call from Cale Makar. The decision that was made was that he had pushed the puck forward while I believe it was Vasilevsky came back onside, and then he touched the puck again after. Do you think that was the right call?
No, I don't. Man, the playoffs move so fast, I completely forgot this even happened. But yeah, this was a big deal.
Very, very much so.
So when you slow it down and zoom in, you see that entering the zone, the puck came off of Makar's stick, and he did not touch it in the zone until his player left.
Correct.
So technically onside. It's like a dump in. You dump the puck in, players leave, you can go in and touch it. But it happened much faster.
Right.
Is the explanation we were given.
Right. That was the explanation. And we've seen this happen before where this has been the case, right? Where someone has been deemed to be a good play where the player gets onside and then you touch it. But in almost all of them, and every one that I've seen, and I'm sure there's some that I didn't see, but the puck was much further off the player's stick than this. There's been somewhere like you actually see them push the puck forward. This puck was still 100% in Cale Makar's control. There was no way that this was not just him entering the zone with full control of the puck. He was no more than a foot, if that, because some angles, the puck looked like it was still sitting on his stick. That's how close it was. There was no, look, as much as I want to sit here and say that the Avs should have scored that goal, that was offside, 100%. It should have been called that. There was no reason for it. And you mentioned it with this hit that things happen so fast. We need to stop looking at these replays at super slowed down speed. And it's tough because I've heard some of the angles and the perspectives of, any offside call needs to be bang, bang like this, right? It needs to be slowed down because TV is going to slow it down. If the officials aren't slowing it down, then you're going to have upset fans when it's like, well, we missed it. But in a situation like this, the context of what he's doing needs to be taken into account. He did not push that puck forward. I think we all know when you are playing hockey, that puck is not on your stick blade 100% of the time. That's just not how it works. So yeah, it's going to be off his stick, but that's not a push forward.
Yeah, no. I mean, the debate, I think, is did he have control of the puck? Did he have possession of the puck? In my opinion, he did. Like, he carried the puck over the line. And like you said, the puck is not glued to your stick when you're stick handling or skating forward with it.
No. So especially when I'm doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think he had control of the puck and possession of the puck, and he was driving forward with it, and it should have been called offside.
Yeah, and that was kind of a turning point in that game. Who knows what would have happened the rest of it? Definitely. The Oilers will say that it helped them or killed their momentum. The Avalanche will say the opposite. But I think it should have been the other way. But here we are. Oilers down 3-0 in the series, down 1-0 in this game.
Well, but then you go through the rest of the series. There's this has been a very interesting series because that happened in game one. And then after game one, it came out that the Avalanche starting goalie is out, injured.
That's right. Yeah, in that game. And so this kind of goes back to, I don't know if you recall, from everything I've been able to piece together, this goes back to his injury against the Predators when Darcy Kuemper took a stick in the face from Ryan Johansson. freak accident play.
Oh yeah, the eye thing.
Right. So he got hit in the face, got a stick in the eye. I believe that this is still tied to that because he pulled himself from the game. He said like I can't go anymore. And so he pulled himself out. Pavel Francouz comes in, shutout game 2.
Yeah, like to me, he stole that game. He was awesome.
He was very good.
He played great.
Yeah. I don't think. I mean, I'm not sure if it's a steal of a 4-0 game, but he definitely
fair.
He was great in that game for sure.
And then last game, of course, the Evander Kane, Nazem Kadri situation.
Yeah, and I mean, I think especially if Evander, the reason I think he should have gotten 2, if we're cycling back to that, is because he didn't get kicked out of that game. He got the 5-minute boarding, but not the game misconduct.
Yeah.
And so I think that it should have been that game plus another one. The fact that he got to stay in that one is a bit garbage to me. So, well,
it's worth noting too, the hit happened like a minute into the game.
Exactly. It was a very early thing.
Yeah. So and it kind of sucks to me that, your leading goal scorer, I think he's the leading goal scorer, is missing 1 game, whereas Nazem Kadri now has to miss the remainder of them.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, I think it's rare that the punishment fits the injury in the NHL. So
yeah. So predictions?
Avs in 4.
You think they're going to win tonight?
Yes.
I do too.
I have a broom in my Amazon shopping cart to send to an Oilers fan.
Wow. That's amazing.
Are
you gonna wait till the game's over, like the final buzzer, to order it?
Could you imagine? That broom shows up like mid game 7, the Avs are losing. I would hate myself.
That's the kind of thing that would ruin the series for your team.
Yeah. I don't know if you remember, there has been many times on this show that a Carl jinx has been mentioned.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Having confidence in my team enough to pick things like Avs in 4 and then record it and release it and have this come out after the game is done. Yeah, I can't be ordering things like that and have it happen. Nonetheless.
Yeah, fair enough.
The Avs, in every single game, the Avs have been the better team. McDavid's been almost invisible. They've done a great job of slowing him down. Now they've got 1 less weapon with Evander out. Now they can focus and target even more. They can really just key in on shutting down McDavid. Because even they've tried at different points, but like in game 2-3, they went back to Kane, McDavid, and Draisaitl on a line, which is a dangerous line, but not enough. Not possible when you've got Kane out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be tough for the Oilers. So, and even the little bit that I've watched tonight here talking to you, it's been all Avs.
Yeah.
Except for that one chance where McDavid came out of nowhere with the puck somehow.
As he does.
Yeah.
Your thoughts? Prediction?
Avs in 4.
Let's go.
Yeah, I think it's going to be, and you know what? I think a Tampa, Colorado Stanley Cup final is going to be one of the best ones that we've had in a while.
I'm tempering my expectations because we've seen so many times where like, oh, this is going to be great, right? And then it's just kind of disappointing.
Yeah. Well, Tampa has to get there too.
Absolutely. All right, let's take a break here. We got some more news to talk about on the other side. Three, two, one.
And we're back. And Nick was completely not prepared to be back, even though Carl counted us in. And we have stuff, we have more. We actually, for the first time in weeks, we have non-playoff stuff to talk about.
Yeah, it's not just because have been things that have been happening and piling up. And now we'll talk about a few of them.
Yeah. Where do you want to start? Oh, you just told me actually on the break.
It's fine. You know what? Yeah. If we had have asked me at the beginning of the show, what I'm sad about is the fact that you don't listen.
I know.
But we only talked about you. So
Classic Nick, right?
I need you to know, Nick, that I'm fine. Thanks for asking.
Okay, good. Glad to hear it.
I would say let's start in Montreal.
Martin St. Louis
stays on as the coach of the Montreal Canadiens.
I mean, fine. I feel like I should have an opinion on this, but I don't really. Like, I think they played better under him when he started. So that's good. He got some of their young guys going.
I'm really concerned how his son's Bantam team is going to replace St. Louis as coach. Which dad is going to step up and replace him?
And how long until St. Louis hires him to be an assistant coach in Montreal?
Just the weirdest coaching pipeline ever. It's just every coach's son now gets a job in the NHL.
Yeah. That's how Montreal used to do it in the original 6 days. You just like go to minor leagues and sign people out of there.
Yeah. But now there's so much scouting, and you know what? They fired the entire scouting department.
Well,
it's just one guy on Twitter.
And now there's also a draft. So that really hurt the Canadiens back then.
Yes. Yeah. But hey, it's not hurting them this year. They're doing pretty okay with that little draft thing.
Yeah, they're gonna be okay with Marty St. Louis.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't get particularly excited about it. They were fine. They were still the worst team in the league by the time it was done. It's not like he righted the ship and flipped them around. There's still big holes that need to be fixed with that team. Does drafting Shane Wright fix those? No. Does getting Carey Price back fix those? No. Does getting Shea Weber back fix those? And they're probably not getting Shea Weber back, so no. But
Shea Weber's not good.
But he's fine.
I mean, I think what he can bring to the table, to the room, to the ice, he hasn't been out of the professional game for that long. He's relatively recently retired. He had great success in the league, playing beside and against some of the best players in the world. And he's a very intense dude, like very competitive, very motivated, overall very intense. So I hate using this word, but from a culture perspective, he probably has a lot to offer to this team that's trending younger. He could probably bring that intensity, that competitiveness to the ice for them.
And if we're talking culture, I think what he brings is also the fact that he now has the thickest thighs of any coach in the NHL. So he's bringing that locker room commitment to the team. I think that fitness culture is going to be a big part of this Canadiens squad as well.
Yeah, I think so. I know you're like semi-joking, but I think that's actually legit. I just can't wait for the stories at a training camp. Just St. Louis on a bike.
I don't know. This is an unconfirmed report, but I heard that they had 24 squat racks installed in the locker room at the Bell Center this week, fully replacing lockers with squat racks. So
classic Marty St. Louis.
Yeah.
They're his own branded ones too.
Yes.
St. Louis squats.
Yeah. Squatting with St. Louis. And it's just jock jams 24/7. Even when no one's in the room, it's all workout playlist the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah. And on the TV at the head of the room, it's got his YouTube channel on repeat. Hey guys, I'm Marty St. Louis here for your squat workout.
It's just videos of him doing them. He's not teaching you any skills. It's just watching.
And it's one of those like 10-hour YouTube videos. No cuts, no edits.
He leaves halfway through to make a shake.
Yeah.
Doesn't give you any idea what it is, just comes back with an empty glass, sets it down. All right, round 2, let's go.
Yeah, I'm in. We need a Marty St. Louis YouTube channel.
The other coaching change, this one happened right before we sat down to record. The Boston Bruins firing Bruce Cassidy, a surprising move to me.
Yeah, I was going to say this one was surprising to me too. Like, I don't think, first of all, the term shortcomings has to be, you got to think of it relatively with the Bruins, because they were still a playoff team this year. And they took their first round opponent to 7 games. Like, that's nothing to balk at. So any shortcomings that they had, I don't put on that coach.
No. I don't either.
So it's a weird decision.
So the Bruins are in a very weird place right now, because we've seen this, even just this past week, the number of Bruins who have had surgery and will miss the start of, if not a significant portion of the season. Brad Marchand, Charlie McAvoy, Mike Riley, Matt Grzelcyk, and Patrice Bergeron all having surgeries that will have them out for quite some time.
It's almost their full first line.
Right. And their top D pair, like literally like that full roster gone. It's just going to be David Pastrnak and I don't know,
the goalie,
whoever plays on Brad Marchand's kids' Bantam team. So with them out, it seems like an interesting time because, I mean, roster wise, the Bruins are going to have a very tough year. I don't put this past season's performance on Cassidy, and I wouldn't put this next season's performance on Cassidy. And when you have so much roster movement and unsettled things happening, I would think you would want to keep things consistent so that players can be comfortable when they step on the ice.
Yeah, you would think so. And he's already kind of taken them through a bit of a roster transition, if you will, or a shift, right? Like, they've introduced some of their new core pieces under him and still a playoff team.
Yeah, you see this last year, right? Like, we've had Zdeno Chara gone this year, Tuukka Rask left, and they have cycled and been able to do this now with McAvoy bringing in Hampus Lindholm on an extension, Brandon Carlo, a big part of this team for some time, Taylor Hall coming in. This is the team that they have. Yeah, sure, they have Pastrnak and Marchand and whatever, but the core is still here.
So you think there's something else going on here?
I do think so. I'm not sure what it is, but something is afoot.
Yeah. You think they're going to make a big move?
And if that big move is fire Don Sweeney, yes. fire the GM. Like, I don't know. Is he the one signing off on this move? Because it seemed like if that's the case, the wrong guy left. I put this performance way more on Sweeney than Cassidy, or there was like something else that led to it. Because on ice, I'm fine with what he's been doing.
Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. Now, see, they got a little cap space to work with. This is what I don't know. It's weird. They must have had some internal discussions about where this team's going to go over the next few years and decided that this coach is not the right fit for it.
Well, and what frees up that cap space, and I think could lead to a very similar situation we saw with Rask, because Rask was hurt and he wasn't fully ready to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Came back later in the year, signed his contract. I could very well see that happening with Patrice Bergeron, an unrestricted free agent who is out, going to come back, sign that contract later in the year, saving the Bruins cap space leading up to that.
Yeah. I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting. I mean, Bergeron's not signing any long-term deals at this point, right?
No, for
year
sure.
By year, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, man. This team is a weird one. They're going to be an interesting watch over the next few years.
Yeah, and like you said, cap space could be lead. They're never a team to just sit by and do nothing.
No. Who is the big UFA this year that's going to hit the market?
Not really much. I mean,
There's
Johnny
nothing,
Gaudreau.
Right?
Johnny Gaudreau would be the big ticket.
Yeah. Malkin's a free agent,
which like he's gonna stay.
Yeah,
probably.
Claude Giroux. Oh, look at this, Patrick Laine.
He is RFA though, so that'll cost
What?
picks. Yeah, that's a bridge deal.
Free agent. All right, I don't know how to filter out RFAs, so there's that.
Other RFA, Brock Besser. There's some decent RFA deals around, but I don't know. Nazem Kadri, that is going to be an overpayment of a deal.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I don't know if the Avalanche are going to want to keep him.
I think it's almost a guarantee that he's not back with Denver.
Yeah, not after the season he had.
No, he can get his, knock on wood, Cup Finals sticker on his jersey and maybe put a Stanley Cup name beside him.
Yeah. I was wondering about this whole surgery thing with him because they said out for the postseason, but he might be back. Like, it's not really normal for them to rush a player into surgery if he was going to be out for a long time.
Well, and I'm not going to say that they're going to treat a player poorly, but they're also, if they're not planning on bringing him back, less concerned about future health and more concerned about winning the Stanley Cup this year. Yeah.
Like, there must have been if I get surgery like today, can I heal in time to play in the Stanley Cup Finals?
Yeah. Can I be there? If it goes 7, because today's game 4. We've got another week. It might start next Wednesday. So that's a week out from surgery, maybe 2-3 weeks out for game 7, 3 weeks from now. Could he play? Probably. I mean, it's not going to be ideal, but is he better than whoever? I mean, what?
Yes. Yeah. Bell? He's better than whoever's drawing into the lineup for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Should we take a look? There have been a number of awards handed out, which made me realize literally just two days ago when they were announcing some award. Is the NHL award ceremony dead? Did they just sneak that in without telling us?
It must be, right? Because they're just announcing winners of the awards.
Like, just on the broadcast. They're like, and the winner of the Lady Byng trophy is this. And then they've got like Kyle Connor with his earbuds in his apartment. And he's like, hello, this is me. Thank you.
It's fine. It's probably fine. I feel like nobody wants that award ceremony.
Yeah, but who else is going to put Nickelback on television?
Oh, they'll have a Winter Classic next year.
Oh, okay.
And if not, then there'll be a stadium series. And if Fall Out Boy is busy, then they can get Nickelback. And if all else fails, Kid Rock ain't doing much these days.
Kid Rock's Green Day's definitely free.
Green Day's free, yeah.
So it'll be fine. They could get Kiss again. Do you remember when they played at the outdoor game in Anaheim?
Yeah.
That was a thing. Oh, the NHL never ceases to amaze me.
Gotta love it. You gotta love the conference room discussion of what are the kids like these days?
How can we connect with people? I know this.
Fall Out Boy. I remember my 35-year-old son loved Fall Out Boy when he was in high school. Let's get Fall Out Boy.
Yeah. Interesting. I mean, I hate everything about what's happening with this award ceremony. If you go to NHL.com awards, it literally just brings you to the 2021 list of awards and winners.
That is beautiful.
So congratulations, NHL, for making this incredibly difficult. But let's start with some of the big ones we've had so far, right? Like the Selke. Patrice Bergeron wins that award every year. I know that Frank J. Selke deserves his name on that award, but can we add Bergeron's name to it? How many times do you have to win an award until they rename it after you?
They should. Honestly, I'm all for switching up these names at this point. No one knows who Selke is anymore.
Yeah, I think if you win it, I don't have it pulled up of how many times he's won the Selke. But
it's the most in NHL history.
If you win it more, if you are more known for that than the person who's won it, named after, you just get it forever.
Yeah. He should just be allowed to keep the trophy. Is that what you're saying?
and then they just give a new trophy to him. Like, this is the final time that we're doing it. This is the last award. It's now yours.
I love it.
He's won it 5 times. The next closest person is actually former Detroit Red Wing Pavel Datsyuk. Did it. Actually, that's not true. Bob Gainey won it the first 4 years of the award. And so he's also up there, which seems like a bit of that just doesn't seem fair for you to win it 4 times when they just like create an award. It seems like it's created for you at that point.
It does, doesn't it? Wow, he's so good. We should put an award out there that we can give him.
Is there any way that we could really award someone for a forward with really good defensive abilities? I don't know. Sure.
I just like all these award names while we're on the topic, Carl. Like was Frank Selke a particularly good two-way center? Was James Norris a very good defenseman? I don't even know anymore.
Well, here's what you can know about Frank J. Selke. His name is not Frank; it is Francis. And
his close friends, we call him Frank.
Okay. Well, he passed away in 1985. He was 92 years old at that point in time. And
he owned the Canadiens, did he not?
He might have. He was a general manager, from what I can tell. He never, you ask, was he a particularly good two-way forward? He never was in the NHL, Nick.
Yeah.
So maybe let's just pump the brakes on Nick. I mean, look, I'm sure there's a reason. I'm sure if we did a bit deeper of a dive, we could find out. But name it after the guy who's actually good at it.
Yeah, that's what they should start doing, is swapping out these names on these trophies for actual players who they should be named after.
How many years after someone retires can you put their name on a trophy?
I don't know. Make it Hockey Hall of Fame rules. 3?
Sure. I'm for it. I mean, yeah. Messier got his leadership award not too long after. That's a guy who's still with us.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe that's it. You can have your name on the award for, there's terms for it. You can't just have it for eternity. 50 years max.
Oh, I like that. And then you just refresh it with somebody new.
Then you have to.
Yeah.
Right?
I like that.
That is a thing that I would tune in for. And then we can have some more, some names that are good. And I know that like right now, it seems like I would hate the moment that we're renaming like the Willie O'Ree, like, what is it? The award that goes to like someone with like community service, right?
Yeah.
I would hate that moment, but also in 50 years, is there someone else that can still represent the spirit of what Willie O'Ree stands for? I would hope so.
Totally. Then the old trophy goes into the Hall of Fame, and it doesn't have to be forgotten.
Absolutely. Yeah. I like that.
It can still be honored. So then let's talk about the Jack Adams.
Jack Adams is an award that I hate. Let's talk about it.
Jack Adams, by the way, was an NHL coach for many, many years.
Was he good?
He was good. He won a lot of Stanley Cups.
I was going to look it up so that we could know, but thank you for pre-learning it. The nominees were Andrew Brunette, Gerard Gallant, and Darryl Sutter. Brunette of the Panthers, Gallant of the Rangers, and Sutter of the Flames. The winner of the 2022 Most Improved Team Award is Darryl Sutter.
Yeah, I was just looking at these names, and I'm thinking, man, all the goalies on these teams were very good.
Wait, let's check out. The Vezina nominees are Markstrom, Shesterkin, and UC Saros. So,
okay. Well, you know what? Saros did deserve that.
Dare you?
Pretty close, though.
Yeah, right? When 2 of the 3, an easy decision. And it literally, to me, this award is the dumbest award every year. I get that there are great coaches and great coaching moments and great things that happen, but none of these represent, this is just like the guy that made his team overperform what they did last year, and they give the guy an award.
Yes. You know what I'd like to see with this award and with the GM of the year? Don't give it out every year. Give it out every 3 years. Because these positions are one where you're building something and you're developing something. And the results aren't always immediate in a 1 year. So it would be great if every 3 years they handed out the GM of best GM award or best coach award.
I love that idea so much, because then it's not just a small sample size, right? It's all right. If you want to be a good coach, how are you actually coaching up this team and improving it and being consistent?
Yeah.
How well can you, as a GM, build this award for some time?
Yeah.
That's a really good idea.
So that's what they should do, especially in the salary cap era when building teams takes time.
Yeah. And when it's easy to get on a heater, Andrew Brunette wasn't even the coach for the entire season and is nominated for this award.
Yeah, right?
I get that there are good coaches and good moments, but we talked last week about should he even have kept the job?
Yeah.
Come on.
And by the way, he walked onto the bench of a team that was a Stanley Cup favorite before the season even started.
Yeah.
So he didn't have that hard of a job ahead of him.
He was like, hey, what was Quenneville doing? We're going to keep doing that. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Let's run that back.
Pretty much.
Any other awards stand out to you?
Did they name them all?
No, we haven't. I think we're still waiting on Price won the Masterton for comeback player, perseverance, sportsmanship. Kyle Connor won the Lady Byng tonight, which is sportsmanship.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah. Who else?
The big ones will probably wait until the finals, hey?
Probably. I don't think they've done the Clancy yet. They haven't done the Vezina. They'll haven't done the Ted Lindsay, I don't think. And then Hart MVP, the Calder to the rookie, Vezina and Norris seem like finals ones. So that's where we're at. We've got awards coming. No awards show. Just tune into the pregame and hope you don't miss it.
I've missed every single reveal so far.
I've seen a couple of them, and they just sneak it in. There's no after this commercial we're going to hand it out. They don't warn you it's coming. All of a sudden they're just giving out an award and some guys on Zoom.
So weird.
And I never know which one's coming up. I'm sure there might be some hidden secret cryptic NHL link for it, but
there's Easter eggs throughout the Sportsnet pre-show. Little hints.
Yeah. It's like Beetlejuice. Once Friedman says zone entries 3 times, they have to announce the award.
And actually, in Fight Club, before you actually meet Tyler Durden, he flashes on the screen briefly.
Yeah.
The award winner flashes on your screen before they announce it.
That might be it. Every time we see, and I guess those are done now. I was going to say, every time we see an Ontario election commercial, that when Doug Ford appears on your screen 3 times, they're about to announce an award.
Hold on. You guys were getting them too?
Yes, it was insufferable. I can't even vote.
Do these people not know how targeted advertising works?
No.
Sir, what's the geo you want to target? Just all of them. All of them.
Yeah. That there's Sportsnet Ontario. Yeah, I want it on all the Sportsnets. What if someone wants to, what if someone's not there? I want it on all of them. I don't care.
His cable sports package probably doesn't come with Sportsnet Ontario, just Pacific, West, and 360. And he's like, yes. I better see my ads.
Yeah, I know way more about Andrea Horvath than I ever thought that I would, and that I ever want to.
And that you'll ever need to at this point.
Well, also
doesn't matter anymore.
And I only know negative things about her. That's all that I know. I know nothing positive.
Oh, I'm so glad it's all over.
Well, the playoffs aren't over. We still have the second half of the conference finals and the Stanley Cup final still to come this season. Next week will likely be, we'll be wrapping up at least one of these series by next week. I'm calling it here. Next week, we'll wrap up one, maybe the other, probably not. I feel like that next series will still be going this time next week.
Oh, interesting.
I mean, I picked 7 games. If the 7 games, they'll play Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. Game 7 will be Monday.
Oh, so we'll have another Game 7 to broadcast.
Yes, we will.
Or it'll be over and I will have been right.
Either way, we'll be talking about it here. For sure, one of them. I mean, I guess technically guaranteed. It seemed like a bold statement, but now that we've done the math, Game 7 for Avs Oilers would be Sunday. Less bold of a statement. So one of these series for sure will be done. The other one will be wrapping up at latest on Monday. So we'll be here for you going all the way through the Stanley Cup final, the draft, free agency. We're still here. We're breaking down everything that happens in hockey and coming up with amazing ideas like Nick's choice to put awards on terms instead of every year. I think that has to happen. That's might be one of our best ideas ever. We're playing high sticking. I got to do a little update on the games. Was quite the weekend, but you head over to our Twitter at Fourth Line Podcast and you pick who you think will win every game and the score of it. I actually just found out as we were recording, one of our high sticking players sent that he received the jersey we sent him, and it is looking good. Sent another one of those out this week and look forward to sending out a final one to the winner of this. Luckily, longtime friend of the show, Brody, is last update still leading. I really do not want him to lose another tiebreaker. That's really what I'm wanting to not have to do because he's lost too many of them this year. So let's hope there's no ties. That's all I'm cheering for. No ties. On our Twitter at Fourth Line Podcast with the number 4, play high sticking with us, and just a great time talking about all these games. If you're watching, we're watching. So head on over there. Great chatting with you. The fourthlinepodcast.com, where we've got great articles. Mike Laybourne wrote one this week looking into the history of three-peats. Tampa's trying to win their 3rd cup in a row, and he looked at what other teams have done that in NHL history, how that's gone, how likely is it. So interesting read from him, and thank you very much for that. We'll be back next Monday night with another Fourth Line show.
And we're going to send you out tonight with my audition to be a cheerleader for the Colorado Avalanche. Ready? Okay. McKinnon, Makar, they're gonna go far. Francouz, Nazem, they're playing like a dream. Go Red Wings!
I was ready to clip that for all eternity. It was gonna happen.
Just not gonna let that happen.